Hey, we're live. Welcome to this week's training. I'm super excited to jump in here and give you guys some tips and hear a little bit more about what you guys got going on. So give me a hashtag live if you're coming in live. I'd like to say hello, and then hashtag replay. So I know you're out there, and please ask questions. This is what this is all about, right? I wanted to be able to share with you some simple steps to get started in real estate investing, and like stuff you could do today. You don't have to wait for a training, a program, a mentorship. You don't have to wait for any of that. There's some steps that you can start with today. Now, granted, mentorship trainings, they'll get you there faster, but not doing, being, and thinking resourcefully will not get you anywhere, regardless of mentorship and trainings, right? You need to be thinking already and being resourceful and knowing what you want, right? It makes my job as a mentor so much easier to have some sort of tangible way of working with you. With that, I mean that you have an idea, you've Google tubed, you've done some research. You're like, here's where I'm stuck, Joanna, or anybody, like whoever, whatever training you're on, whatever mentorship you get a hold of, here's where I'm stuck, right? And so getting started without any of those things, it makes it more difficult to move the needle. So a couple of things I want to go over today. Again, let me know where you're coming in from, and so that I can say hello. And what the some questions that you may have. But really just off the top, a couple of things to get started would be, number one really is narrowing your market, right? If you can narrow your market, it makes it so much easier. Here's what I get from some people. I want to invest here, and I want to invest there, and I want to go here, and maybe over there, and then blah, blah, blah. And it just makes it so difficult for anyone to focus. I don't care who you are. It makes it difficult to focus. I know I can only do one or two markets. And not that I can't do more, not that I don't want to do more. It's just you get more when you focus. You get more when you focus. So narrowing down your market, in my trainings, I always say not city center, but just outside of city center, is an easier playground. If you go too far out of city center of the state, county that you want to play in, then comps become difficult and understanding the market becomes a little bit more difficult. I've had people come to me, oh, I have this horse property, but I can't figure out the comps. Well, because there's only like 3 in the area. So it's really difficult. Nothing's sold in the last 10 years. So anyways, just bring it back in a little bit. Always know that you're going to go search for a pond that has a lot of fish, right? Of course, if there's not a lot going on, then you're going to move down the river and go to a pond that's got fish. By that meaning motivated sellers. So narrow your market down. Know the state, county, city, zip code even that you're targeting. And of course, you can go a little bit outside of that, but just again, the more you narrow in on it, the better off you're going to be, the easier it is to get there. Let me see, am I still live here? Okay. It said I went out for a minute. So let me know if I'm still here. Okay, good. No, it's still zinging and zonging. All right, let me check. It looks like no internet. All right. Bum, bum, bum. Hang 10, hang 10, hang 10. It is not just sons of guns. So I see it on my phone, but I don't see it on my computer. That's weird. You got me. You got me. Anyway, so some simple steps to get started. Let's continue on with that. So we went over your market a little bit. Consistent lead gen, right? So some people go, oh, well, I got this thing, the postcard thing that I could do, and I send out mailers, and please don't, please don't. The reason I say that is because you need to have some money that's going to back you up on that, right? So some people will go, well, I have $500, I'll do some mailers. You have to be consistent over several months, even up to 6 months, to be getting leads off of that. So do 500 times 4, right? Times 6 months, whatever that may be. That's the true lead gen on that. So I would do more social media. I'd do more in-person networking. I can get a leads list at any given time, either from the courthouse or a leads list source like PropStream, ListSource, Property Rater, Foreclosure Rater. There's so many different places, right? That you can get a list from, and start honing up on your negotiation skills. Like, what should I say? Well, the very first thing I tell my clients is, what do they want? Right? So the only way you're going to know what to say is if you know what they want. So get on the phone and ask them, hey, I see that, there's houses available in this area. I'm an investor looking in this area is anyone selling, right? You don't have to say, hey, I see you on this foreclosure list. Nobody wants to, they're going to hang up on you. So, but you'll learn that. If you're afraid to get on the phone, you're afraid of the no's, or afraid of the, what they're going to say, and afraid of you not knowing what to say, you're never going to move forward. So just fail forward fast. Just keep going. Just keep going. Speak to as many sellers as you possibly can. Make yourself a goal. For some people, it's 10 sellers a week. Okay. For some people, it's 50. For some, it's 200 a day. It depends on where you are in the investor world. Okay. So make that goal for yourself and speak to sellers, see what they want, and then go, hey, Joanna, hey, I got this deal. How do I move it forward? Here's what they want. And it's not always just like hard, cold cash. They might be willing to be creative with you. So, but you don't know until you know their story. So it's all about the story. It's about the seller story, it's about the building story, and it's about your story. So I get deep into that with my clients quite a bit. And just ask questions, be curious. Why are you selling? Why are you selling? So if you have these little experiences, you'll know what your next right steps are going to be, right? Get rid of those fear factors, right? Of, well, I don't want to talk to them because I have this imposter syndrome of, I don't have any money, so how can I buy their house? You should always be approaching them like you have $1 million in your pocket, because you don't always use your money anyways, even if you did have $1 million in your pocket. So some do, some don't, some will, some won't. You can have millions of dollars and still not use any of your money. It's not how savvy investors do investing. So don't think that you need to have the money first. Okay. There's creative ways to acquire it. There's partnerships that you can do. There's, joint ventures and hard money lenders. There's so many different ways that I go over with my clients. So don't let those fear factors, maybe even you just do a traditional financing one. Maybe you do qualify, get qualified. But what does that hurt? So, ask them if they'll carry paper. Do seller financing, right? Maybe it's a subject to, maybe it's and again, I can go on and on and on, but that's for like my full day training. And I'm just here for a little snippet to help you guys just move the needle a little bit. Okay. So, make offers like you have millions in your pockets, right? So you're creating an environment of moving forward. That's what that's doing. And you will be blessed. You will be given everything that you need. And I can't say for financial sakes. I'm not a financial planner. I'm not a money person. I'm just here to tell you that the universe sees what you're doing and will reward you. Period. Right? Things are going to come to the table. I get deeper into that with my clients, but having something tangible to show a lender, having something tangible to show a private money lender, a joint venture partner, but you don't know because you never called the seller, you never made the offer, you never got the story, right? So again, being able to get a hold of a property is huge. So go ahead and do that. It's a simple step that you can do. Nothing says you have to close on it. Nothing says you have to close on it, but the experience of moving forward is going to be tremendous. You're going to love it. And this is what I've had some students do. They're getting stuck in how to move forward. And I actually made them get into contract, made them sign a contract, made them get into escrow, made them see how one property made the cut, if you will. And it was life-changing for them because the whole time they had been guessing, well, what if, what if, what if? Okay, well, let's take an actual house and as an example. And so that's what I'm telling you guys to maybe not get into escrow or anything, but just get in conversation with a seller, get in conversation with the lender, get in conversation about closing on a deal. You don't necessarily have to do it, but get in conversation. You'll learn a whole lot through that. Networking is so huge. Networking is like 90% of real estate investing. I do a lot of it on Facebook. You'll see me in the DMs. Most of you met me in the DM trying to say hello and network. There's joint venture opportunities, money opportunities, property opportunities, mentorship opportunities, like friendship opportunities. Like I've met so many people in the DM. And that's truly where, I mean, if you guys don't want to leave the house all the time, right? Like a lot of networking, that's the one thing that came out of the last couple of years is a lot of stuff is done online. And of course, it's great to get, eyeball to eyeball and in person. I love that. I love doing in-person events, but definitely keep networking. Networking is key. So again, just some simple steps: narrow your market, be consistent with your lead gen, whether it's online or lead list, something like that. Get your negotiation skills going up, right? By having conversations, learning from the conversations, speaking to sellers, making offers. Be curious. So why is it that you are in foreclosure? Like, what happened? Or pre-foreclosure, I should say. Don't deal with foreclosure, just pre-foreclosure. I got to correct my language. And again, act like you have $1 million in your pocket. It's going to make you feel a whole lot better about moving forward. And there's no push, there's no strain, there's no you have to, you do not have to close on the property. It'd be great if you can, right? So get resourceful. If the deal works, get resourceful. If not, I mean, you just had a conversation and you learned. You learned another skill. That's a great way to get started investing today, right? You'll get there a whole lot quicker. So, or seek mentorship, right? You'll get there a whole lot faster because you're paying for speed, right? Getting on the fast track and learning somebody else's struggles and what they've hacked, right? I've hacked so many different things in the past 20 years, being creative, being resourceful, and negotiation skills, talking to many, I don't even know what the number is of sellers that I've spoken to. It's over the thousands, right? But it's made me a great person in this industry, right? So I wish the same for you. I wish the same for you to move forward, be resourceful, and get the training that you need. If you need any help, reach out, type in the questions in the chat, and I will see you on the next training. All right, bye.